We don't change our lives by deciding harder. We don't make lasting change happen because we're finally so fed up with ourselves. And it's a time of year where we start talking a little bit about New Year's resolutions, changing our habits, setting goals. It's day 33 of the Bedhead Chronicles, where I roll out of bed with whatever hair I've got, throw on my bathrobe, and jump in front of a camera and talk about things like this. But more than anything, I'm here to be a permission giver for you to live more authentically and to tune in to those inner parts of you that are calling for your attention. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about New Year's resolutions, goal setting, and what leads to lasting change, or at least what did for me, the huge shift that I made in 2025. So I think sometimes we get so caught up in the idea of being someone else, changing our habits, changing who we are, that we set unsustainable goals, unsustainable expectations. And as a retired overachiever, I can completely relate with that. I spent most of my life just total type A, completely fixated on goals and achievements. I loved the idea of a BHAG, a big, hairy, audacious goal, and it led to burnout and bankruptcy. So I'm here to say that that approach may work for some, and I think that it does, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it. In some ways, I set a big, hairy, audacious goal in 2025, but my approach to it was different. I decided at the beginning of the year that I wanted to let go of the destination and the angst and that inner drive towards everything, and I wanted to embrace something that I called ease and flow. And I had started writing a blog in 2025 really with the intention of publishing each week. I knew that I wanted to do that, but I didn't want to put a bunch of pressure on myself because I was learning that all the pressure is what was causing me to either burn out or to just stop completely. And I had to learn how to handle myself differently. And a big piece of that was letting go of the outcome and just focusing on the here and the now and doing the thing. I know that once I get to the end of 2026, I want to have posted 52 blog posts. But if that doesn't happen, that's okay. Right now, I know what is important to me and what it is that I want to do and how I want to share. And so that's what I did in 2025 at the beginning of the year when I started this blog. And one of my original posts was ditch your goals. How letting go can lead to your biggest breakthrough. And that was kind of experimental when I wrote that, but it made sense to me. And as I've reflected over the last year, I have to say that it really, truly did lead to breakthroughs for me. Ditching that goal setting mentality that I used to teach my clients as a weight loss coach. That's smart, measurable, specific, measurable, actionable. I can't remember what the R is, and time bound, SMART goals. I have a video on it from like 2017 back in the bottom of the YouTubes. And those are valuable. It's important to set goals in that way. You want to know that you're going to be able to do it. That's how I did this. Essentially, I can only make videos early in the morning, and that's what I'm doing. So I'm not dismissing the value of setting a SMART goal and being intelligent about the way that you want to change your habits and your goals. However, I needed to ditch my goals so that I could do something a little bit different. And that is to embody my intentions. So I shifted from that white-knuckling to my achievements to embodying my intentions. And if you tune in tomorrow, I will talk about a little ritual that I like to do around embodied intention setting, where I set a intention in stone, where I write it in stone, and it's kind of fun. And there's some real cute things that it can lead to. But that is not exactly what led to my breakthrough. So let's back up just a little bit. I turned 40 in 2024, and it hit pretty hard. I had the realization, I was a few years past bankruptcy and divorce. I'd been married for 17 years and felt like I was way off course of where I wanted to be in life. Didn't live where I wanted to live, wasn't doing the things I wanted to be doing, no longer had any assets whatsoever, starting completely from zero. And that was hard to face, but I faced it. I went through a big old shame spiral around it. And then I decided that this feeling of always being behind isn't serving me. And I asked myself, what am I behind? Who am I behind? Why am I behind? Is this just some idea that I have? This standard that I'm holding myself to? What happens if I let go of that sense of urgency to be somewhere different than I am and accept where I'm at and start to be rather than focus on achieving? What would it be like to just embody who I am as I am, knowing that everything that I want to accomplish is possible and it's out there and it's valuable and it's valid, but I already am the person I'm wanting to become, just in process of becoming. And in November of 2024, I felt called to set the intention of doubling my income. But I wasn't going to do it through chasing and striving and fighting. And I have talked about manifesting in some of my videos, and some of my attempts at manifesting are pretty comical. This felt so different. It was something I knew that was possible by making a career shift. And I was going to just move in that direction and let it happen in its own good time. I wasn't going to force it, but I knew it was possible, and I started to know it was going to happen. And in June 2025, it happened. And it was kind of synchronistic and magical. And the same thing with my writing. It was something that I'd been wanting to do pretty much my entire adult life. And I finally gave myself permission to do it. And I found a way to show up for it daily and weekly and to make it happen. And it's been a beautiful experience. But it was, if I were to just call it a goal, writing daily and publishing weekly would have felt really daunting. And I would have probably convinced myself there was no way that was going to be possible. I would not have been able to stick with that. That wouldn't have been sustainable. But my approach to everything was different. No longer white-knuckling. Like, I had made a decision to quit the hero's journey. Been there, done that long enough. This was no longer going to be about hustle and grind and staying up late at night and making it happen and forcing it. I was going to find a way to do this through ease and flow. And that's not to say that there haven't been moments of doubt, and that it hasn't been hard at times, and that I haven't overextended myself. But the way that I came into the process, the way that I diffused the pressure from myself has been completely different and incredibly effective. So I hope you'll stay tuned tomorrow for this fun activity that you can do this year where you write your intention or your word of the year on a stone. We'll talk about some of the value of that and how that helped me to sort of center and ground into what I wanted to feel in the upcoming year and what embodiment really means. And I'm going to leave you with a simple question. What pressure am I subtly applying to myself right now? And let's ask one more question. If you're feeling behind, what? What are you feeling behind of? There's not a right way to ask that exactly. Who are you feeling behind? What are you feeling behind? Why are you feeling behind? And I don't want to gaslight you, but I will just leave you with this thought that I shared yesterday. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. Because here and now is the only time and the only place we ever have and we ever are. Now is our one and only moment. And I appreciate you being here with me in this now. And I'm wishing you a beautiful rest of your day. Love it when you share with me in the comments, or some of you reach out to me directly. I'd love to hear your thoughts about being behind and learning and knowing that you are exactly where you're supposed to be without a destination. Because life only has one destination. That's a deadline that's static, that's not changing. None of us are writing that into our day planners. So let's live maybe at least 2% more today. 2% more authentically? I don't know. Is that going to become a tagline? Okay, I'm going to let you go. Enjoy your day. Be safe out there. And hope to see you here tomorrow, where we'll talk about writing our intention on a stick.